My name is Alistair McConaughey, and this is a Force for Good production. The comments from our political leaders here at Holyrood, prior to and following Donald Trump's victory, reveal how woefully inadequate these people are to run our devolved country, let alone an independent one. Let's get straight to that. Every single one of the leaders of the political parties at Holyrood came out strongly against Donald Trump, even before he became a presidential candidate. While he was a presidential candidate, they were opposed to him. In many cases, they were nasty to him. And since then, they haven't really let up in their attitudes towards him. And they did this. They mocked him and they were nasty to him, even though every single one of them knew that he was in a potential position to really help Scotland's economy and our trade if ever he were to be elected. Even though every one of them knew he was in a position to become the world's most powerful man in charge of the world's most powerful country, even though they knew that, they still attacked him. What does that say about them and their ability to be statesmen and stateswomen? Rather than thinking, how do I build a relationship with this guy, even though I might not agree with him politically, how do I build a relationship so if he were ever to be elected, I'd be in a good place to help Scotland? All of that seems like it was too complex of a thought for them. Instead, all of them attacked him and made negative comments because it was the easy thing to do. It was very easy to throw stones at him when everybody else was throwing stones. It's a lot harder to stand up and defend the person that's getting stones thrown at them. That's just the way that many humans are, unfortunately. For example, here's Ruth Davidson using some Shakespearean verse from Henry IV to attack him. She tweeted, "So Twitter, we're all agreed. Trump's a clay-brained guts, naughty-pated fool, horse son, obscene, greasy tallow catch, right?" Well, he's not actually a horse son. He is the son of Mary MacLeod from the Isle of Lewis, who immigrated to America last century. So he's actually half Scottish, which is something that you won't hear the Scottish media or the Scottish politicians ever mentioning or laying claim to for some reason. In the leaders' debate on BBC Scotland on the 24th of March 2016, she said, and this is Ruth Davidson, "I don't think he'll be President of the United States because I have too much faith in the people of the United States to ever let that man anywhere near the White House." On the same programme, Kezia Dugdale's message to Trump was to stop preaching hate. And Sturgeon's words of wisdom at the same event were, "I actually do think the good people of America will send Donald Trump packing, and we should all rejoice when that happens." Well, Sturgeon is certainly developing a propensity to always back the loser these days. And Rennie and Harvey also made pathetic comments, not one of which are even worthy of mentioning. And you can see the link to that programme below, where you can also watch the audience clapping like trained seals. And we've recorded the link there below because we shouldn't let these people, these politicians, forget that they've all burnt their bridges with the most powerful man in the world, the leader of the most powerful country in the world, the man who could have helped Scotland's economy and our trade with his country. We shouldn't let them forget what they've done to us. Kezia Dugdale has also tweeted that Trump's views are, quote, poison, and pathetically, and that's a word I'm going to come back to, pathetically that she was, quote, scared to my absolute core. Well, that's not really showing very strong leadership qualities, Miss Dugdale. You are meant to be taking us over the trench. You're meant to be leading us. You're not in a position where you should admit that you are scared to your absolute core, certainly for not something as stupid as afraid of an opinion of Donald Trump's. I mean, that's really pathetic. Pathetic coming from the word pathos, meaning suffering. The suffering of the emotions is what the word pathetic means, and we see that a lot in Scottish politics and Scottish politicians. It's all about emotions. It's not about real life circumstances that you have to deal with in a political and diplomatic manner. When he was elected, Ruth Davidson said, quote, "It's not the result I wanted," which is an interesting admission in itself, a centre-right politician saying that she'd rather prefer a far leftist Democrat instead. Very odd, very weird. So why is all this relevant? This is the point that we want to make. By taking this cross-party hostile view, every single one of our leaders at Holyrood has compromised Scotland's position economically and politically with the most powerful country in the world. Every single one of our leaders at Holyrood has damaged Scotland's relationship with the most powerful country in the world. And they did this because they thought that their own public virtue signalling, that is to say, showing the Scottish media how right on they are, was more important than dealing with someone that they may have disapproved of politically, but knew that they might have to work with practically in the future for the benefit of Scotland. They put themselves and their own feelings before the best interests of Scotland in the world. And they put their own moral views, such as those are, and they're often clearly immature and confused, and at best highly questionable. But they put those moral views before their job as stateswomen and statesmen on behalf of Scotland. That means that right now in Scotland, we do not have one leader. We do not have one leader of any of the political parties in Holyrood that the new President of the United States of America, the most powerful man in the world, leading the most powerful country in the world, would even want to speak to. Think about what that means politically for us and for Scotland. If we were already independent, Scotland would be put quite literally at the back of the queue by America right now. And in consequence, everything, including our economy and our trade with the USA, would suffer if we were already independent. Now, there is a very real possibility that these silly people have compromised, have already gravely endangered Scotland's place economically and politically with the USA over the next 4 years. After all, why should President Trump want to speak to any of them? Why would he want to do any trade deals with Scotland? Why would he want to bring Scotland around any of his tables? But at least, and this is a saving grace that we have as unionists, at least we are still part of the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom together still has a special relationship with the USA. At least as Unionists, our saving grace is that we are still part of the United Kingdom. Therefore, we should be able to continue to enjoy being part of the special relationship which the UK has with the USA. We should still, through the United Kingdom, continue to enjoy the benefits that the UK enjoys on the world stage, even if that means we have to suffer a compromised relationship between Scotland and the USA as a consequence of the crass behaviour of our politicians. But you know what it also does tell us, and what it proves, is at the moment we cannot rely upon our political class here in Scotland to understand anything of geopolitical significance, or to say anything of any geopolitical significance, or to act in any statesmanlike way, or to even understand what that involves. They have no understanding of what is called realpolitik. That is to say, politics based on real circumstances, regardless of what you may think about those circumstances. Not politics based on your tender emotions and how you expect other people to feel about them. At present, these politicians at Holyrood are all too wrapped up in contemplating their own Scottish navels. They're all too wrapped up in swimming about the little goldfish bowl which is Scottish politics, where Scotland is the centre of their universe, and where personal virtue signalling is seen as the ultimate purpose of politics and the highest political good, which transcends the best interests of Scotland in the world. In the short term, there's little that we can do about the pathetic state of these politicians. Pathetic meaning pathosetic, meaning the suffering of the emotions state of these politicians. However, we can at least be grateful that we're still part of the United Kingdom and that we will still continue to enjoy a special relationship with the USA, which will continue because we're part of the UK, and that's despite the pathetic politicians in Scotland having just mucked up all of that on Scotland's behalf. As we said at the start of this broadcast, the comments from our political leaders in Scotland prior to and following Donald Trump's victory reveal how woefully unfit they are to run our devolved country, let alone an independent one. So from people who have a hard time knowing what they're even thinking, let alone talking about, to somebody who does know what he thinks and is an extremely accomplished orator, the great Neil Oliver, archaeologist and TV historian. He had a very good article in the Sunday Times yesterday, the Scottish edition, 13th of November 2016, entitled "We Claim to Value Democracy, Yet Treat Some Votes with Contempt." And what we liked was the last couple of paragraphs, which we're just going to read to you here. He says, quote, "What will it take before we realise what a precious place this Britain is? When will we see it as others do? As an elegant cruise liner afloat on a storm-tossed, shark-infested sea. Places like this don't just happen. This Britain is the product of millennia of strife, and it's a safer, better place to be than anywhere else on earth." Well said, Neil Oliver. We'll put the link to that article in the Show More box down below. Now, if you like what we say in this programme, please do subscribe to us by clicking the red box directly above our head, or to the left of the video down there, or to the right here just inside the video. We want to get our subscribers up. Our first goal is 250 subscribers. The more subscribers we have, the easier it is to populate our videos around YouTube and ultimately around the internet. So please do subscribe to us. If you like what we say and you want to donate funds to us, please click in the Show More box down there. You'll see a PayPal link, and you'll also see a link to our website, aforceforgood.org.uk, where there's a variety of donation options for you. We're on Facebook and we're on Twitter, and we're also on patreon.com. Patreon.com allows you to donate to us per video. We can't do this without you. We really do need your help. So if you like what we're doing, please show your gratitude in some way, and please give the video a thumbs up like. Thank you for listening. My name is Alistair McConaughey, and this has been a Force for Good production.